Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is waiting to be sacked after leaving Manchester. On Monday, Solskjaer flew back home to Norway with his family. Manchester United are sitting 6th in the Premier League, following back-to-back home defeats to Manchester City and Liverpool. Solskjaer is under pressure because Manchester United have only won one of their last 6 Premier League games. Solskjaer is losing the fans. Also, the players are turning against him. Yesterday, Fabrizio Romano spoke about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's situation. Romano said that the Manchester United board have held no talks with other managers. And still support Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Solskjaer is expected to be in charge for the game against Watford. The game against Watford could be his last game in charge. Manchester United are prepared to give Solskjaer a little bit more time. Earlier on this week, it said Manchester United have no plans to replace Solskjaer despite the Man City defeat. If Manchester United sack Solskjaer, they'll have to pay £7.5 million because in the summer Solskjaer signed a new contract with Man United until 2024. There's an option of a further year. Manchester United made a mistake giving Solskjaer that contract, and a lot of United fans will agree with me on that aspect. If Solskjaer cared about the club, he would resign. But the problem is he's not going to resign. Solskjaer should have been sacked after the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool a couple of weeks ago. If we'd have sacked him after that game, I can assure that Manchester United would have got Antonio Conte. Well, it said after the Liverpool game that Solskjaer had been given 3 games to save his job. And he's only won one of them 3 games. Obviously, we beat Tottenham 3-0, drew 2-2 against Atalanta. Ronaldo saved Solskjaer in that game. If it wasn't for Ronaldo, Manchester United would have lost that. And we recently lost 2-0 to Man City. After the 2-0 defeat to Man City, Solskjaer did say that the Manchester City defeat was a big step backwards, and he also said that Man United were outclassed by Man City. Solskjaer has been given long enough at Manchester United. Solskjaer has been in charge of Manchester United for almost 3 years. And this season is Solskjaer's 3rd full season at the club. And I did say at the start of this season that this season was going to be massive for Solskjaer because he's got big expectations to exceed. But the expectations are far too high for Solskjaer to exceed as Man United manager. And Solskjaer has lowered the standards at the club as manager, and Ole is in a position that he shouldn't be in. I hate to say that regarding Ole, but I'm just being realistic. Solskjaer is not capable of winning trophies as Manchester United manager. He's not yet won a trophy as Man United manager. We haven't won a trophy since 2017. That's nowhere near good enough to our standards. Of course, we all want Solskjaer to succeed as Man United manager, but he's not going to. Reflecting now on Solskjaer's been Manchester United manager, though, he has gained some managerial experience and he's learned quite a bit on the job, but there's still plenty of things Solskjaer's got to learn because he is still a young coach. Now, we all adore Solskjaer. Reflecting on what he's done for the club, at the end of the day, Solskjaer is a club legend. And the reason all he's lasted as long as he has done is because he's a legend of the club. Solskjaer had a proven pedigree as a player. Look at the amount of trophies he won as a player. But unfortunately, he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager. Because before Manchester United, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but they're not a big club, and before then he was at Cardiff, and his record at Cardiff was terrible. He only enjoyed a short tenure with Cardiff, he got Cardiff relegated. Solskjaer's tactics have also been questioned, and his team selections have also been questioned. Now, reflecting on our poor performances, not all of the blame stems from Solskjaer. There's also players that have to take responsibility for those poor performances. Solskjaer ran out of excuses a while ago, didn't he? Manchester United should be doing much better than they are because Manchester United have got a very good squad. But the problem is that Manchester United are a team of individuals that don't actually play as a team. That's why it's not working out. You've got the likes of City and Liverpool and Chelsea that all play as a team, and that explains why they're in a much better position than Manchester United. Manchester United enjoyed a very good summer transfer window this year, made 4 signings. Obviously brought Tom Heaton in on a free from Villa, brought Sancho in from Dortmund, brought Varane in from Real Madrid, and we re-signed Cristiano Ronaldo after 12 years. Man United spent 141 million in this year's summer transfer window. Ollie's enjoyed like 5 transfer windows now as permanent Man United manager. And Solskjaer has received very strong backing from the board. And the board still continue to back Solskjaer. Obviously Ed Woodward's backed him. I gave you the news on Ed Woodward earlier on today. Ed Woodward is in talks to stay at Manchester United under a new role. As everybody thought that Woodward was gone for good at the end of the year. It got announced back in April that Woodward was leaving. Woodward's had a 16-year association with the club. The Glazers have also backed Solskjaer as well, and they're still continuing to back him. And John Murtough and Darren Fletcher have backed him. So there you go. Ollie knew though when he taken over at Manchester United, he knew it was going to be a massive job, and he knew he had a lot to do when he came in. Solskjaer got appointed in December 2018 to replace Mourinho. He's been permanent United manager since March 2019. The reason Solskjaer got the job on a permanent basis was reflecting how well he did as the interim manager. Manchester United have spent over £400 million under the Solskjaer era, and Solskjaer signed 14 players. Solskjaer's also got rid of a lot of players since he's come in. He's loaned quite a few players out. He's got rid of a lot of players permanently. Some progress has been made under Solskjaer because he's got us to semi-finals. He got us to the quarter-finals of the FA Cup last season, and last season he got us to the Europa League final, and that was his first major final as Man United manager, but unfortunately we didn't win it. And there you go. And last season, Solskjaer got us a second place finish, and in his first full season, he got us a third place finish. Don't forget, Manchester United went on the 29-game unbeaten run away from home in the Premier League. It was Leicester that ended our unbeaten run away from home in the league. But Manchester United have been far superior away from home than they have been at home. I also like the way Solskjaer develops the youth. If Solskjaer does get sacked, he will be the fourth permanent manager to be sacked since Ferguson, because Manchester United have already sacked 3 managers since Ferguson. We sacked David Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. So there you go. Manchester United are going to offload players next year. You know, I definitely think Martial's going next year. Cavani's going next year, I think. I think Juan Mata's leaving next year. I think Lingard's leaving next year. I think Van der Beek's leaving next year. Matic is leaving next year. Looks like Pogba's leaving Manchester United next year. Tellez is leaving next year, I think. I think Jones and Baye will go next year. I also think Diego Dalot will go next year. And I also think that Dean Henderson will go out on loan. So there you go. And as you all know, there is a lot of managers on Manchester United's agenda. Now, apparently, Brendan Rodgers is the favourite to replace Solskjaer. Well, narratives have said that Brendan Rodgers has verbally agreed to take over as the new Manchester United manager, but his preference would be to wait until next season. Would you take Brendan Rodgers at Manchester United? Some United fans would, some United fans wouldn't, obviously with him being a former Liverpool manager. But I've got to make an admission and say Brendan Rodgers is a far superior manager to Solskjaer. Brendan Rodgers, you know, he's done good at Leicester. You've got to admire what he's done at Leicester. You know, at Leicester, he's won the Community Shield in the FA Cup, and he's been in charge of Leicester for almost 3 years. He's got a contract with Leicester until 2025. You know, if Rodgers came in, would he get Manchester United back to that level where they should be at? Would he suit the strappings of the club, and would he get the best out of the team? Ralph Ragnick has been spoken about a lot. I've been hearing rumours saying that he could come in as the interim manager until the end of the season. Romano recently gave us an update on Ralph Ragnick. He said that Manchester United turned down Ralph Ragnick. I'd like to see Ralph Ragnick become our director of football. Zinedine Zidane has been spoken, but apparently Zinedine Zidane is not interested in the Manchester United job. Manchester United held talks with Zinedine Zidane not so long ago, and reports from Spain did say though the other week that he rejected the Newcastle job as he's waiting for the Manchester United or France job. Apparently Zidane's enjoying life away from football management. Pochettino's been spoken about as well. He's highly rated by Alex Ferguson. Eric Ten Hag, you know, he's been mentioned as well. I think Man United must consider appointing Eric Ten Hag. You know, you've got to admire what he's done at Ajax. He's won quite a few trophies at Ajax, and he's been at Ajax for 4 years. He's never managed though in the Premier League. So if he came to the Premier League, would he replicate what he's done at Ajax? So there you go. Manchester United have got some very, very good players. Obviously, we've got Marcus Rashford. That's very, very good. You know, Rashford's done well in quite a few games since he's come back. But on the other side of things, there's been quite a few games where he's looked off the pace. You know, Rashford came on in the 2-0 defeat to Man City, didn't do bad. I thought Rashford was poor in the 2-2 draw against Atalanta. Obviously made an impact when he came on as a substitute in the 3-0 win against Tottenham, because Rashford scored the third goal in that game and it was a breakaway goal. Rashford also scored in the 3-2 win against Atalanta. He was very poor in the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool. His positioning was poor, couldn't really get any runs in behind, and he played an horrendous back pass in that game that could have been costly, and Rashford scored on his return in the 4-2 defeat to Leicester. Rashford was out with a shoulder injury for a while, wasn't he? And at one point he had to have an operation on his shoulder. Most of the time Rashford plays on that left wing. We need to keep him on that left wing because that's where he's mostly effective. He's far superior on the left wing to the right wing and up top. Rashford's been part of the club for a long time. He's been a United player since the age of 7 and he's been in our senior squad since 2016, and he's got a contract with Man United until 2023. Obviously, Manchester United have got the best player in the world overall in Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo's obviously becoming infuriated of what's going on at Manchester United. Don't forget, Ronaldo mocked Solskjaer's tactics in the 5-0 defeat to Liverpool. Ronaldo has scored 9 goals in all competitions so far since he re-signed. Manchester United are relying on Ronaldo far too much. Like I said, Ronaldo saved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the 2-2 draw against Atalanta because Ronaldo netted twice in stoppage time at the end of both halves. Also scored the winner in the reverse fixture against Atalanta at Old Trafford. Scored the winner against Villarreal earlier on in the season. He also scored a very good volley in the 3-0 win against Tottenham. He had a goal disallowed in that game as well. And he got an assist in that game as well as a goal. That was his first assist since he re-signed for the club. Ronaldo scored against Young Boys earlier on this season. He scored twice on his second debut in the 4-1 win against Newcastle. So there you go, and Ronaldo did play in the 2-0 defeat to Man City, but he was anonymous in that game because he got very little service. He did have 2 good chances though in the game. Ronaldo recently got named Player of the Month for October. That's back-to-back awards now because back in September, Ronaldo got named Premier League Player of the Month. Now, if Manchester United do keep Ole, I can't see Ronaldo seeing out his contract. Ronaldo's got a contract with Man United till 2023. There's an option of a further year. And Ronaldo receives £480,000 a week, so he's the highest earner at Man United at the moment. He does wear the number 7 shirt, and we got Ronaldo for 19.8 million with add-ons included. You know, Ronaldo's won 32 major trophies in his playing career, including 5 Ballon d'Ors. You know, we've got Mason Greenwood. That's a talented player. You know, he's still young. He's got a lot of development in him. I can assure Mason Greenwood has got a long-term future at Man United. Greenwood has got 4 goals in the league so far this season. At one point, though, Greenwood did go a while without scoring. But despite that, Greenwood's been an absolute revelation since he broke into our senior squad. Greenwood made his senior debut for Man United back in 2019. He's been a United player since the age of 7, so he's been part of the club for a long time, and last season he signed a new 4-year contract. Obviously, you've got Sancho, that's a good player, But he's been poor so far for Manchester United, and reflecting on that, fans have been getting on his back. All is to blame though for Sancho's poor performances, because when Solskjaer decides to play Sancho, he persistently plays him out of position. There's quite a few games though Sancho doesn't even play in, so reflecting on that, does he have a future at Man United? You know, it does take some players time to settle in, doesn't it though? And I said Sancho will do well at Man United, providing that is used correctly. He did recently come on against Man City and make an impact, to his credit. Sancho did endure 4 good years with Dortmund though. But so far at Man United, he's not replicated what he did at Dortmund. But I don't think that's his fault. We got Sancho in a deal worth 78 million with add-ons included. He's got a contract with Man United till June 2026. There's an option of a further year. And you've got Edison Cavani. You know, he's another good player. You know, Cavani's hold-up play is good. His movement in and around the box is good. He creates good chances and he scores very good goals. Cavani scored a very good goal in the 3-0 win against Tottenham the other week. In that game, he was playing alongside Ronaldo, and that was intriguing because Cavani and Ronaldo do play well together. Cavani's now out with injury until December. He was out with injury earlier on this season. Unfortunately though, I think Cavani's going to be leaving Man United next year, but I don't want him to leave with the impact he's made since he's come in. Cavani's got under a year left on his contract. Back in May, he signed that 1-year contract extension. Cavani's got a good pedigree behind him. Look at the amount of silverware he won when he was at PSG. Not only that, he was a long-serving player when he was at PSG. And you know, you've got Bruno Fernandes, that's also an exceptional player. You know, he's one of the best signings we've made since Fergie retired. Fernandes starts the vast majority of Manchester United's games. He's been consistent in a lot of games, but on the other side of things, there's been quite a few games where he's looked off the pace. Fernandes has been a Manchester United player for almost 2 years now. Got him from Sporting Lisbon back in January 2020. Last season he won Player of the Year and he's won Player of the Month quite a few times, reflecting on his good performances. Earlier on this season, Fernandes did make it clear that he wants to stay at Man United. And when he came to Manchester United, Fernandes said, "I've come to Manchester to win trophies." Fernandes has got a contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further 12 months. You've got Donny van der Beek. That's a good player as well, but I haven't had much of a perception on Donny van der Beek at Man United because he doesn't get enough game time. And I said Solskjaer should be starting Van der Beek, especially in the Premier League, because he's a good player. I think Van der Beek is leaving Manchester United in January. Prior to the Liverpool game, Solskjaer did admit that Van der Beek is frustrated and disappointed over his situation at Old Trafford. And earlier on this season, it did mention that Van der Beek was furious with Solskjaer. Van der Beek's endured what a difficult 19 months now at Man United. You know, this season is his second full season at the club. You know, Van der Beek's got a contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further 12 months. He's versatile. He can play in like 3 different roles. And Man United got Van der Beek in a deal worth 40 million with add-ons included. And you've also got Paul Pogba. That's a good player. Not only a good player, he's an imperative player as well. Like I said, Paul Pogba is out for 2 months because Pogba suffered a thigh injury in France training on Monday. Man United are prepared to sell Paul Pogba in the January transfer window. Well, it would be better to sell him in January rather than let him go on a free next summer. And obviously you've got Luke Shaw, that's a good left back. But Luke Shaw hasn't proven how good he can be so far this season, because I've got to make an admission regarding Shaw. I think he's been abysmal this season. Where's the Luke Shaw from last season? Because last season Luke Shaw was absolutely superb. He was far superior last season to how he has been so far this season. You know, Luke Shaw's now out with injury. He came off injured in the 2-0 defeat to Man City. Shaw's been our first choice left back for a while, and he still remains our first choice left back despite the arrival of Telles. Shaw's been at Manchester United for 7.5 years, so he's been a long-serving player. He is injury prone, which is a concern. Shaw's got under 2 years left on his contract. You've got Wan-Bissaka, that's also a good right back as well. Defensively he's always been good, but there's aspects of his game that I've got to improve. Bissaka's got to get forward more. He's got to get in better positions. His position has to improve, yes. And I think his crossing's got to improve a bit more. But despite that, he's still one of the best right backs we've had since Neville. This season is Wan-Bissaka's third full season at Man United. We got him in a deal worth 50 million from Crystal Palace back in the summer of 2019. You've got Raphael Varane. That's also a very, very good centre-half. He's done well in quite a few games he's played for Manchester United, but he's had a couple of games where he's looked off the pace. Well, Varane's not available at the moment because Varane is out with a hamstring injury. He's out for a month because he came off injured in the first half in the 2-2 draw against Atalanta. Varane only came back from a groin injury not so long ago, and he was out for a few weeks with that groin injury. You know, Manchester United got Varane in a deal worth 41 million with add-ons included. He's got a contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further year. Varane to Man United was official just before kick-off against Leeds, which was the opening day. But Varane is regarded as one of the best centre-halves in the world. He's highly experienced and he's got a good pedigree behind him as a player. Look at the amount of silverware he won when he was at Real Madrid. Not only that, he was a long-serving player when he was at Real Madrid. You've got Eric Bailly. That's a good centre-half as well. Bailly doesn't get regular game time though, obviously with the signing of Varane in the summer transfer window. And for some reason, Solskjaer seems to prefer Lindelof ahead of Eric Bailly. Bailly's only made 3 appearances this season. My element of concern about Bailly is injury prone, so in that aspect is a liability. Towards the end of last season, Bailly signed a new contract with Man United till 2024. There's an option of a further year. Bailly's been at the club for like 5.5 years now. Got him from Villarreal back in 2016 for 30 million. Brought him in under the Jose Mourinho era. You know, Harry Maguire, you know, he's a good centre-half when he wants to be, but he hasn't proven that so far this season. Maguire's been very, very poor this season. He's been even poorer since he's come back from that calf injury. You seem to get the best out of Maguire when Varane's alongside him. He seems to be poor when he's alongside Bailly or Lindelof. Manchester United overpaid for Maguire, got him in a deal worth 80 million, so he's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment, and is the second most expensive signing at the club behind Pogba. You know, you've got De Gea, you know, that's a very, very good goalkeeper. You've got to give De Gea credit, he's done really well so far this season. Don't forget De Gea reclaimed that #1 spot back. Because in the summer, De Gea decided to cut short his holiday by 2 weeks to fight for the starting players. And he did say he was determined to fight for his Man United future. De Gea's won everything domestically at the football club, and he's made over 500 appearances for Man United in all competitions. He made his 350th Premier League appearance in the 2-0 defeat to Man City. This season is De Gea's 11th season at Man United, so he's been a long-serving. He's been with us since the Ferguson era. De Gea's got under 2 years left on his contract, and he receives £375,000 a week. You know, Henderson's a good goalkeeper as well, like I've already mentioned, but obviously doesn't get his chances now. So these very good players at Man United. There's quite a few players, though, that don't even get in our 11. You know, Martial doesn't really get in the team. Lingard doesn't really get in the team. Mata doesn't get in the team. Amad Diallo doesn't get in the team. Tellez doesn't really get in the team. Tellez will only play when Shaw's not available. You know, Bai doesn't really get in the team. He'll only get in if, obviously, we've got other centre-halves injured. Or, obviously, we go with 5 at the back. You know, Dalot, he's another one that doesn't really get in the team. And, obviously, Dean Henderson doesn't really get in the team. So, there you go. So, anyway, guys, that's everything to update for today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe, as always. And take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again soon.